who else we got here?
Rowdy's here today, and he's the number one contender for Bellator, for San Francisco Combat, 155 pounds.
So San Francisco Combat, that's a
MMA league.
An MMA league.
Yeah, MMA league.
Based out of San Francisco.
Based out of San Francisco. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know if it's based out of San Francisco. Steve Barnett's the owner. It used to be called Bay Area Combat.
Okay.
And Alex already fought in there once. Has a big win. Like his very first fight was.
So how did he even get on that ticket? How did he even get invited?
I know a lot.
Is
of
it an
people.
invitation?
Yeah,
thing?
it's like
or is it something
coaches
that you
will-
had to manage?
Yeah, promotional company will hit me up. Hey, do you have a guy for this weight class, or do you have a guy for that? I get a lot of calls like that. Like I got Alex from. Like I got Bellator calling about Alex. I got King of the Cage calling about Alex. I get like Alex gets like he's like the hot ticket right now. Like he's like a 29-year-old kid.
Okay.
But if people only knew like where he came from, like his story, like people just want to know more about him. Alex is like one of the nicest kids like you ever meet, you know. But he's going through some stuff in his life that he's got to get figured out. Like we talked about in the past, like most of my kids have a background, you know. Most of my kids have like a backstory to them. They can make a movie about Alex's backstory, you know. Like Alex is one of those kids. Like we call him Rowdy, and that's the only. If you ever call him Alex, no one on the team would be like, who the hell is Alex? Like nobody knows who Alex is. They all know him as Rowdy. But like he's the guy that keeps the team like together. He's like a.
How did he find the team?
He actually has been with me since he was a kid. I've known him since he was a kid. He was very young when I met him, and like
did he come up to you, or you saw him?
Just through family. He was always around my family. Like you know, he grew up in the Richmond area. I grew up in the Richmond area, and he was always around my family. Like through family. And then Alex is family to me. So he'll come to me and like ask me for like life advice. Like I've been counseling Alex since he was a kid. So I've been knowing him for a long, long time, and I always knew he could fight. So, like he's like I say, he's a big hot ticket right now in the MMA community. Like. If people that kind of know his story, like our big company, like the bigger companies. Like I said, I almost kind of mentioned their name, but like right now we're like in negotiations with things, so I really can't say the name, but they want to know they want to know about him. Like this kid's like he's like conquered so many like obstacles in his life. Like this kid, they only knew about like Rowdy, like. His story is like.
And how long he's been with you?
He's a lifetime member. He's been on this team lifetime.
And when did he turn pro? He's 29.
He's 29. He's actually like he took like a lot of time off from fighting. He was just focused on getting his life straight and stuff like that. He came back to fighting like last year, and he's gonna go pro like hopefully coming up in January. We got big plans for him. Get to know him, and they want to get his story, and they want to like get him on their card. Like one of the most like action-packed fighters. Like
so, is he fighting Bellator?
He'll be fighting as soon as we get this promotional things getting taken care of. We'll be he'll be fighting on somebody's big card. It'll be in a big card. It's gonna be in the San Francisco. It's called San Francisco Combat.
San Francisco Combat.
Yeah.
Does he have anything coming up for that?
We have King of the Cage over like over him.
Is that a SoCal?
King of the Cage is like worldwide. It's a worldwide company. It's a big company.
Oh, okay.
A lot of the Daniel Cormier, Ronda Rousey, they all started kind of like in that company.
So like that King of the Cage, so that means any discipline?
Nah, it's King of the Cage. It's MMA. It's just the name of the company.
It's MMA.
Yeah, it's just the name of the company. It's a big company. They have like a lot of our fighters actually fought on live TV, and it's kind of weird because like CJ and Jakari. CJ Arana and Jakari Harris, and Jeremiah Matthews, they all made their debuts at King of the Cage on live TV, on like a very live broadcast. So like they're making their debuts in these big companies, like with the big bright lights, and like Jamario and Will are looking at them like we have to like break our backs to like even get on a show like this. You guys get like fight number one on a big stage. So like Alex is blessed. Like
did that already happen?
That already happened. That already took place. We actually like took those fights on short notice. Like King of the Cage called us like a week before their show was.
Did they get paid?
This is amateur. This is amateur, but it's on national TV. It's like a live national broadcast. It's cool. It was a good experience for them. Like,
how does one go from amateur, where they actually get paid, get paid at least, at least $2,500.
Yeah. So they just gotta work their way up. They gotta like put butts in the seats. Like we have a fighter here who like it's my son, so I can talk about it. Like Jamario Mulder has fought like the very top opposition in the state. Like he's never had an easy fight. He's had tough, undefeated opponents, 7-1 opponents, 4-0 opponents, big gyms, like big companies backing these kids up, and his record is like, I believe he's 3-4 right now, but he puts butts in seats. Like he sells out arenas because he will like, his fights are exciting. He fought on Bellator, probably won fight of the night the day that Finch fought McDonald. Rory McDonald fought John Finch that day, and that fight probably won fight of the night.
Did it get televised?
He got televised, yeah. So
it
was on television. So he's one of those guys. He's like an action fighter. He brings it, and he fights the very, very best. And I want to talk about the Mulder, the Jamal Mulders and James Mulder, because those were my very first two fighters that I ever had. This is how we started this camp. This whole thing is because of the Mulder brothers. We started that. There were kids that I met that were going through some personal struggles and financial struggles, and they were like, this is what I want to do, and this is like, I need help. And I was like, all right, well, this is what I know how to do, and I can help you. Like, if this is what you want to do, I can help you. Like, they were getting in trouble and fighting and stuff like that. So if you want to fight, you might as well get paid for it. And so I started working with them.
Facts.
Yeah. And the Mulder brothers, like, this whole thing is built on the Mulder brothers. The Mulder brothers are.
And I'm sure that turned their life around.
Yeah.
Because they found something constructive and productive to do, and to be involved with building up the program.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing like being a founding member of the program.
This program was built on the Mulder brothers' back. This whole, like, the swag that these guys have, the way they talk, the way they carry themselves. Like I told you the other day, when these guys walk in a building, it's different. Like, if you think you're a big wolf or the big man on the block, like we were talking earlier, the big bully on the block, like those big bullies, they go for higher ground. Like they're scrambling. These guys are tough, and that swag they have, that aura they have. They're not bullies. They're not looking for trouble, but like these guys will fight you on sight. Like this very tough guys. These are very, like, you do not want to like start provoking like Rowdy or start provoking like Isaiah or Jeremiah. Like, my daughter got into a fight with a big team from Sacramento on the last San Francisco combat, just because like they were like, rubbing stuff in, like they were, like it gets crazy in the stands too.
Start
like,
talking.
Yeah, it's competitive everywhere.
Yeah.
And my girl, she's not having it, but she's like, she started going back and forth with the coaches, and so this is just how it is. Like, it's not like these guys are looking for trouble or troublemakers or nothing like that, but like that aura that the Mulder brothers had. Like,
but I mean, does that come from success?
It comes from success.
Because you guys are making moves.
It comes from. It's not even from success. I would say. I think it's just because like these kids have always felt like we don't get the credit we deserve. Like, I think like a lot of these kids are like have a chip on their shoulders. I know like James and Mario always had a chip on their shoulder because James and Mario always had to take short notice fights, take big name fights against big name people from big name gyms. And I'm not, like Mal can say anything. You can go on YouTube and you can watch what James and Jamario have done to these big gyms. And so I don't really want to talk about it, but like for the most part, this program, the swag, the aura, like everything that these guys are about, literally was built on those Mulder brothers. And so like everybody kind of built from that. So like Will kind of followed them. They were like, well, that's Will Salguera, that's James and Jamario Mulder's brother. So we're gonna give them opportunity, to like be on.
So they set the example.
They set the pace. Like when they.
That's right.
I still walk into arenas and they'll be like, hey, where's James at? How's James doing? Or I'll walk into an arena and be like, how's Jamario doing? And then that opened a lot of doors for Will, to be honest with you. Like, Will's been on big stages because of his brothers and what his brothers have accomplished in the past. And it was more like, that's Jamario and James' brother. So like, let's get him on that one global. Let's give him a chance.
People know about it.
And so then Will kind of opens the doors for like the next guy and the next.
And hopefully, we get some things going out here where these guys get, get some butts in, put some butts in the seats.
Yeah, me and you have been talking to the side on that. Like, if we can definitely start something in this area, because the goal for this gym was not to compete with other local gyms or nothing like that. Because
how do you not? I mean, because even with the fitness stuff, right? I mean, I'm not trying to compete with them, but yet and still, it's a competition because people are always going to say on the street, they say, oh, you're a boxing coach? Oh yeah, you know such and such. Like, why would you ask me if I know boxing coach ABC?
Yeah.
if you want to know about boxing and what I know about boxing, then just ask me. You know, you don't need to ask about somebody else.
Yeah, for me, like the gyms that are around here, like, so one of them is owned by my good friend Giovanni Encarnacion, and he's on the streets, and him and his wife are doing kind of the same thing we're doing, helping kids through like faith and helping kids through like religion. Yeah. And they're also like, and Gio's also a really, really good coach because Gio was a really experienced fighter. So Gio's been in a lot of wars. So Gio's a really, really good example. His wife a really good example for the community. So I don't look at them as competition. Like Gio will call me and be like, hey Serge, I got a kid that wants to just do pure boxing, so I'm gonna send them your way. Okay. And I'll have kids here that'll be like, hey, like I wanna do just pure whatever, Muay Thai or whatever. Yeah. Like, hey, go to Gio, or like if they wanna like just focus on like grappling, because to be honest with you, like I'm claustrophobic. I can grapple, but I'm claustrophobic, so I don't really spend that much time on the mat. We have a Charles Gracie black belt in here now, Junior Osmar de Lima, and he comes in on Tuesdays and works with my guys. But I work with my guys like very like I would say 90-10. Like 10% of the time I'll work with them on the ground, submission defenses and stuff like that. But I don't really work on the ground like that, so I'll send them to Gio. Because I don't look at Gio like competition. It's love. Like Gio's doing the same things I'm trying to do. Like he's trying to help kids get off the streets. He's trying to help single moms and single, people who can't afford to pay, like I told you earlier, like $300, $400 gym memberships, like just can't do it. So Gio is doing kind of the same thing we're doing. So I don't look at him as competition. I look at him like that's my brother, that's love. He comes from Dan Black's team. Dan Black comes from the Team Tensui, the original Team Tensui team that I come from. So I look at them like that's my brothers, and like we all gotta eat. And to me, like me and my wife, we got real jobs. Like we got real business and stuff like that.
Well, this is a real job.
And this is a full-time job. This is a full-time job.
I mean,
it's
you
hard.
spending more time doing this because you love it than you do at your paid job.
Yeah, I spend like about 5-6 hours a day here. I mean, every day. But like I said, I got a real job, so it's not really how I like put food on the table, but like it's more for like helping the kids out. And Gio's doing the same thing. There's a couple other gyms around, like I said, but I don't look at anybody as competition. I look
so
at
you're saying that, but you wouldn't shy away if any of your guys got that offer for a big fight.
Big fights are big fights. I'm gonna hug you up. Like it's big fights are big fights. We're not gonna turn down big fights. But at this rate, like my guys, I always prefer to fight people from, like I told you, from other cities. Like this is Antioch. I'm trying to keep Antioch on the map. I'm trying to be positive about Antioch and put Antioch in a positive light. Not trying to compete with the guys that are already in Antioch trying to do the same thing.
Gotcha.
So I want to fight people in Sacramento. I want to fight people in San Francisco. I want to fight people in San Jose. Those are the big teams. Right. And those are the people that we have something to prove. Like we're looking for a challenge, but it's not people from Antioch. Like
well, we gotta find. Yeah, we definitely need to get some type of yearly, some type of yearly
competition.
Event, and make it like a festive event.
Yeah.
I mean, so it'll attract family, it'll attract, outside viewers.
Yeah.
Not just, folks who are family.
Exactly. I think the Antioch would do good, like in a situation like that, if a promoter opened up a monthly competition, like a monthly event here, because Antioch's a fighting city. Like Antioch's changed a lot. When I got here about 17 years ago, Antioch was like a really, really calm town, like really quiet town. And now it's just become more like, it's a fighting town. It's like a tough town. Like a lot of people like have migrated to Antioch, and like it's made the town like a lot more diverse. And it's a tough town. And so like I think a lot of people would like to do that. So I come from Richmond. Most of my guys come from Richmond. Like my niece comes all the way from Richmond to train here. My nephew's a single dad. And he brings his daughter every day here to train. A lot of parents be like, man, she's so good. I'm like, well, my nephew puts a lot of hard work. He's got some handicaps right now that, he had to dealt with through life, but like, he's here every night. And that's why she's so good. And I tell parents.
She walks so confidently too. She look, like I said, she reminds me a lot of my daughter. That's why I'm like, wow.
A lion's born a lion, coach. Like, there's no such thing as like you cannot turn a hyena into a lion. A lion is born a lion, and all you gotta do is sharpen that lion up. If you're a hyena, you're a hyena. If you're a deer, you're a deer. Like it's just who you are,
Hey, what about